Hello, residents and citizens of the internet, and players of tabletop role-playing games. My name is Michael of Miracle Comics, and here today on this channel we will be discussing 5 fresh ways to roleplay Barbarians in tabletop role-playing games such as Dungeons & Dragons. My little beholder friend here is going to help out a little bit, and I'm going to make a shout out to 2 YouTube channels. The first D&D tuber I'd like to shout out is Cahill Robertson. He recently released a video letting us know that after a long hiatus he's returning to make projects. He's going to focus more on quality than quantity and make some really effective tips for DMs. He's already made some excellent videos, and I will make sure to link to his channel towards the end of this video up in the doobly-doo, not down in the doobly-doo, because those are different doobly-doos. But anyway, the second shout out I would like to make is to Roll Initiative. The channel has some awesome people working there on a variety of content, including tips for voicing certain different types of creatures in our tabletop role-playing games, such as their series, 5 Fresh Ways to Roleplay X Class. As part of their ongoing series, I can get my own take, taking a crack at the Kraken that is 5 Fresh Ways to Roleplay X Class with my take on the Barbarian. Now, obviously, I don't want to just steal the idea full stop, and I would love to see their take on 5 other fresh ways to roleplay a Barbarian, or 5 more fresh ways to roleplay the Barbarian. But it was in the idea space, and all of these are my own original takes on the Barbarian, and I'd love to see them get back at it with their blessing, which is why I'm plugging their channel. Check out Roll Initiative. Again, they will be up in the doobly-doo above. Number 1. Me and my beholder friend here present the Former Cultist. You were rescued from a cultist compound either by the party before the first session starts or by people who referred you to the party. Cults are oftentimes in service to creatures like beholders, krakens, or even deific figures like the 5-headed Queen of Dragons, Tiamat. For this build, I would recommend the Zealot Barbarian subclass with the Acolyte background. This sort of helps with the idea of your rage and unrelenting sort of beliefs, even if you've broken from the faith system you were part of. We also recommend, me and my beholder friend, lizard folk, orcs, half-orcs, kobolds, goblins, bugbears, gnolls, and humans, and tieflings, which could all fit the build really well. Depending on the setting, drow and other kinds of elves, such as Eladrin, could fit extremely well, and for elemental evil, Genasi can fit quite well and for feats, things like Savage Attacker, Ritual Caster, and Magic Initiate would all work very well. In terms of which Magic Initiate, Druid, Cleric, or Warlock could all work really well for that cultist theme. Number 2, we have the Broken Pacifist. This is a person, most likely a dwarf, part of the common folk, who for whatever reason was moved to war to help the party fight with violence against the antagonistic force of the campaign. Now, for this build, generally we'd recommend either the Battle Rager or the Berserker, and it sort of helps emphasize the theme of someone who is reluctant to violence at first, but when the time comes for it, they excel at it. With this build, the folk hero background works quite well, although soldier with some conscientious objector tweaks also works. You generally prefer to dodge and help rather than attack, but anyone who hurts you or your friends will force you to reluctantly defend the party. Dwarf with the Dwarven Fortitude feat means choosing the dodge action also heals you, and the healer feat is also appropriate for someone who is not so fond of violence. Now, number 3, we have the Primal Party Monster, a very fun one. This is someone who thrills in a sort of almost bardic jubilation and goes into battle because they just consider that to be a kind of party. For this build, we recommend the Ancestral Guardian or Pit Fighter Barbarian with the Entertainer or Noble background. Variants of the Entertainer and Noble background, being Gladiator and Knight, can also potentially work depending on your campaign setting. So, we know that happiness is your rage. You are so joyous that your celebration summons heroic party spirits to help your party members become party members. This is with the Ancestral Guardian. Monstrous races help emphasize the monster angle, but human helps to contrast the simplicity of your ancestry with the bard-like nature of your fighting. Now, with the pit fighter barbarian, we similarly recommend that kind of leaning into the idea of jubilation to a crowd, and charisma helps boost that significantly. Triton might be a good fit for that, and feats like Inspiring Leader and Actor help enhance the base features of the pit fighter, where it's all about the sort of show-stopping force of your attacks, and the spectacle therein that is very, very entertaining. So, quick intermission before the next few. I want to be sure to plug Galder's Gazetteer, the Kickstarter project that has been successfully funded. We're already well into playtesting phase, and we have been for a while, and it's going quite well. We have some really cool content brewing, and I'll make sure to leave a link to the Discord down in the doobly-doo, as well as some of the playtest packets where you can find things like the Pit Fighter Barbarian. I, of course, want to be mindful to also mention that Roll Initiative's videos thus far, at time of release of this, are the Fighter, Cleric, and Wizard. My channel is not a barbarian-centric channel. Right now I have my series, Barbarous Superstitions, underway, and that will continue to come out over time, more sort of focused quality project. And this is just one of a couple of 5 fresh ways to roleplay X-Class that I think should be done. I'd love to see tons of videos. There are many ways to roleplay a fighter, so why not 5 more fresh ways to roleplay a fighter? I love the idea of there being like a dozen videos like that, but they're all unique, and that's what's versatile about the fighter. So the Barbarian, let's get back into it with another pit fighter. For number 4, we have the Demigod. You are the manifestation of semi-divine powers, and you would rather hold creatures still as your eminence is able to cause damage to them, your very presence, than have to hit them with a mundane weapon. For this build, we recommend either the Storm Herald, for the idea of the air around you being set on fire, summoning lightning from the sky, or empowering your allies with sort of storm-like prominence. Or Pit Fighter, to have more of a show-stopping effect on your enemies and pinning down single targets before mopping up the grunts and minions of the bigger creatures. In terms of using a whip or chain, with grappling, we recommend the Grappler or Tavern Brawler feats to help enhance the theme of the Pit Fighter. But even if you go Storm Herald, those feats are also effective for locking down creatures and bringing them into your area of effect. Now, in terms of ancestry, High Elf, Eladrin, Scourge Azimar, and Dragonborn are all potential picks which enhance the theme of being semi-divine, descending from that kind of lineage that's deific. In terms of other feats to help enhance that aspect of it, Tough, High Elf Magic, and Dragon Fear are all good for your survivability and your near instructability as a demigod. Without further ado, I will be presenting our 5th fresh way to roleplay the Barbarian, the Faithful Hound. Hope I'm not getting too predictable here. But anyway, for this build, the idea is that you are a guard dog or animal companion, perhaps even a familiar, to the party. You can be a wolf, hound, shepherd, mastiff, or whatever breed you feel is appropriate. We recommend the Wolf Totem Barbarian with mastiff racial stat adjustments, but also rolling for stats as per normal. Outlander background helped to emphasize the sort of survivability and effectiveness of just being a dog who can find food almost anywhere, probably squirrels. Choosing to use the unarmored defense that you get from a barbarian helps boost the Mastiff's survivability. Potentially ask your dungeon master if you can add the Mastiff's starting average HP to your regular, or just swap it out for level 1 barbarian HP. The idea is that Mastiff abilities generally replace your ancestry rather than all your stats. In terms of feats, we recommend Observant or Charger to either emphasize your perceptiveness and the nose which knows, as you're always on the scent, or Charger to help enhance your sort of reckless attack and sort of charging tackle abilities, because those stack well together. One powerful attack to maybe knock down allies, and enemies. Only knock down allies if it's for a big ol' friendly hug. So end of the video, I would like to bring up Adventures of Galder, a community within this niche community of Dungeons & Dragons, which aims to commemorate people who have passed away in real life, players and dungeon masters, and people generally in the tabletop role-playing game community, by immortalizing their characters. It has brought a great many people closure in their time of grief, and I think it's a good way to pay homage and respect, and we encourage people to use these characters in their own games as part of their adventures. Having Galder, the human conjurer, appear as a wizard to help the party here and there as a sort of guide and mentor is something we've seen quite a bit, and it's been beautiful to see the community grow. Of course, I plugged Galder's Gazetteer earlier, and we're not looking for money or the like at this point. We've already successfully funded the Kickstarter and everything. But if any of this is interesting to you, and you like some of the role-playing builds you've seen here, why not check out Adventures of Galder? I'll make sure to leave the Reddit link in the doobly-doob down below as well, and I hope that it's a little bit of hopeful wholesomeness to brighten your day. This is Miracle Comics author, signing off.